everyone, welcome back for another week. This week is another in my kind of continuing series. I've done one like this before, just comparing two movies, the original and the remake. Last time I took a look at the Shinkansen Bullet Train. There's a new one on Netflix, but that is a remake of a 1970s film. And this one, not everyone may know as well. If you know, you know. But that's more like for film fans, cinephiles, as it were, fancy people. This time I am comparing an Americanization of a foreign film. Has happened before. I did do a film on every version of A Man Called Ave/Otto, but that included the book that it was based on. This one is not based on a book, to the best of my knowledge. So anyway, without further ado, I'm taking a look at the differences between the original German film, Wings of Desire, and the newer American film, City of Angels. So let's get right to it. Wings of Desire, 1987, directed by Wim Wenders, stars Bruno Ganz and Solveig Dom Martin. Also, Peter Falk playing himself, kind of, or maybe this is the real him, Otto Sander, and Nick Cave also as himself. Henri Alecan was the cinematographer who worked on Jean Cocteau's 1946 Beauty and the Beast. Nice bit of trivia there. I just watched this movie a couple of months ago as part of my ongoing, valiant, and admittedly unrealistic attempt to watch every movie in the Turner Classic Movie Collection. An effort which is still ongoing, and you can find that playlist on my dorky and underdecorated channel page. So my memory is both fresh but also a smidge fuzzy, so bear with me. This movie is known as art, or at least it is by people who haven't seen it, or maybe also by people who have seen it. I don't know, I'm not that cool. It is beautifully shot, largely in black and white, which is probably why I always assumed it was an older film than it actually is. The film is set in Cold War, just pre-unification Germany. We see angels, who are clad kind of incongruously in black, watching over and among humans as we go about our daily lives. The angels can hear our thoughts, and they sometimes lay their hands upon us in order to give us a psychic boost, but otherwise they cannot interact. One angel becomes obsessed with, he falls in love with a human. Like, how could you not? This gal is smart, talented, well-spoken, beautiful. She is the whole package. Even though the angel can never go back to being an angel, so it's a big step, he ends up becoming human in order to be with her. It is a love story on a grand and deep scale, with some kickin' musical interludes by Cave, if that's your sort of thing. Deep is the word here, with many people's thoughts coming across as philosophical and poetic, which is not my personal experience, but knowing me, it wouldn't be. I don't normally notice these things, and honestly, it only just occurred to me, which means it was probably patently obvious to everyone else. The line between humans and the angels being oh so close, but never being able to cross that line, it seems to me to be a very definite reference to the actual line at the time going through East and West Germany and other places. And you're probably going, well, duh, right now. But like I say, I pick up on things eventually. I get there in the end. That's what counts, right? So anyway, this is a beautiful film, as mentioned. It is overall very poetic, and the black and white cinematography in particular is so striking that many people know the stills even if they don't know anything about the movie. I say in particular because this movie is not, in fact, completely in black and white, to the best of my recollection. There isn't much in the story that goes into the fact that the angel in question, here named Damiel, decides to become human, other than he can't go back. And when he does turn, everything abruptly becomes color. It's an exceedingly simple effect, utilized perfectly. Oh, do I love that type of thing. This is a decently long movie, clocking in at 127 minutes. Largely in German, except for Falk speaking in his native English, and as said, the dialogue tends toward being deep. It's poetry, plain and simple, which isn't for everyone, and it's easy to believe. This wouldn't be for the faint of heart, but I encourage anyone to look past that and just give it a try. It's a love story, but it's more than a love story. It is a love story toward humanity. Okay, so City of Angels, 1998, directed by Brad Silberling, stars Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan. A quick note, this was produced by Dawn Steele, who was instrumental in deciding to remake the film for Americans, but she died before the film came out, so the movie is dedicated to her. The music I found quite pretty by Gabriel Yared, also composer of The English Patient, The Talented Mr. Ripley, etc. The soundtrack, of course, features that song, but also Angel by Sarah McLachlan, and Uninvited by Alanis Morissette. The plot here has a bit more complexity, and I'll walk you through the main points. It starts, with a child passing away in the hospital. God. It also has the dearly departed Andre Braugher, love that man, as fellow Angel Cassio, and the movie does feature Dennis Franz. Being a 90s film, there is a whole bunch of, I have seen that person, what else have I seen them in, going on, or, at least it is for me, having grown up watching a lot of 90s films in my time. I did spot Nick Offerman, of all people, as a construction worker, and that was simply a delight. Now, Ryan's character here is a doctor as opposed to a circus performer, and there is a lot of emotion and honest questioning raised throughout the film that stems from her position as, hopefully, a lifesaver. As this is a romance, it's not that different from what Ryan usually shows up in or did at that time, but it is a drama as opposed to a romantic comedy, which he usually got typecast in. So that too is a nice change. The library sequence in the original is particularly striking and well filmed. And although this film overall isn't quite up to that level cinematically, there is still a library sequence as a direct homage. And that's not badly filmed, considering this entire film is more Hollywood friendly. Unlike the other movie, it turns out Ryan can full-on see Cage, if not right away. Typically, humans can only see angels if the angels let them. Dennis Franz is a patient in the hospital and also the Peter Falk character, fill in. When he and Cage have a conversation in the hospital room, the light over Franz creates a halo effect. There is a lot of that in this movie, but naturally it's especially effective here. There are some points with really quite bad blue screen, but as this is not an effects-heavy movie, it's easy to look past that. Yeah, the budget went elsewhere. Cage and Ryan become close, and he is finally forced to become clean about what he is. Now, it's spelled out quite clearly in this film that he has to fall in order to become human. But the main difference here is that he actually literally has to fall. Or maybe he doesn't, and he just takes it literally. In any case, that's what he does, off of a tower. It's in a slow motion sequence that is interspersed with black and white clips of Ryan and also just the human experience in general. And that's a nice sequence in many ways, and again, a bit of an homage to the original, but overall, I just felt like it was lacking. It didn't work somehow. Cage awakens bloodied and quite human, and has one of those manic Cage moments that by now we all know and love. Or at least we all know. He goes dashing off after Ryan. Before having quite gotten the hang of this human thing, he gets mugged, soaked in the rain, and finally gets a lift to go meet her at a cozy cabin hideaway. They get to know each other in the carnal sense, avert your eyes, and the very next morning, she goes out for supplies at the corner store and gets hit by a logging truck and dies. Yeah, it's that kind of movie. So Cage still has kind of an angel sense, and he goes running to the scene, where he arrives just in time before she kicks off and has time to say goodbye. So now he knows what that experience is like from the other side of it, and we have come full circle. We have a funeral. He has to learn what it's like to work through grief. Brower arrives and they have a chat. It felt a little bit, at least, like Brower was fulfilling the role of the magical black friend here. But anyway, they have a chat. They both learn from each other. It's a teachable moment, and Cage learns to just embrace life for what it is. So, yay, I guess. I don't tend to like it when stories, at least movies, go that way. I get the point that they're trying to make about seizing the moment, because sometimes that's all you get in life, and that is a beautiful point, and it's well made. But as a viewer, I kind of just feel like I've wasted my time. When it comes to the plot generally, this one takes the big idea from the first and distills it down, so it's more of a personal quest. The fascination with humanity is there and exhibited, but the story becomes more about the connection that can be made between two people. And there's nothing wrong with that. As said, Franz essays the Falk part, but here he is an angel who fell because he also fell in love. This movie is, as said, more Hollywoodized, and I didn't care for it as much. But as said, romantic drama doesn't tend to be my thing, and I just did feel as though I've seen this movie before. And not literally because I have more or less seen this movie before. It's just not the most original story. But it does have heart, and I get why a lot of people would like it. So that's it from me. Have you seen both or either of these movies, and what did you think? Please put them in the comments below. I will see you next week. Hang in there, champ. You can do this. You really can. I believe in you. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.